on that topic, I'm just going to cover this one because I think it's actually a really important one, because it's important to, I think that there's probably people in the audience who have something in their head which is a really good idea, and they're like, I just wish I could make this happen. And so I'm gonna have a quick chat right at the end about founding your own tech company. What does that look like? Because I've been here a few times. There's lots of great ideas out there. There are a lot of great ideas out there. You might think that your idea is not that great. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is, because there are lots of great ideas out there. But most of those great ideas, even when someone tries to build them, they don't really get executed well enough that it actually works. Ideas aren't enough. You actually need to have a clear method of getting to a point where you're making money out of it. That's the most important piece, because otherwise that's the way our system works. You have to find something that somebody will want enough to pay for, that you will eventually, there is a vision on how you can eventually be cash flow positive in the long run, and you'll have some experience with the problem. And I just want to emphasize that one. Do not try to solve problems for other people who you haven't lived the experience of, unless you find a team. Never found a tech company alone. Just don't do it. I've done it. I've tried. It was a really bad idea. Please don't do it. It practically never ends well. And if you can't convince anyone that you have a good enough idea for them to join you, you do not have a good idea. Particularly if it's a field which you're not that familiar with, try to get someone in that field to join you as product or marketing or whatever. Get somebody in that field to join you. Do not try and solve the problems of the restaurant industry or the retail industry or the transportation industry unless you have someone from that field join you, because they actually understand what the issues are. So find co-founders that complement your skill sets and your knowledge sets. So you need someone who does engineering, you need someone who does product. Sometimes those are the same thing, because frequently, there's co-founders don't tend to be defined to a specific area, but you need to be able to actually work together and be able to get everything across. But you need someone who can do marketing and, if necessary, sales. So there's all these skills. They're never found in one person. Pretty much never found in one person. So yeah, don't try and do this alone. Finally, strongly recommend, if you're going to do this, do an even split on shareholding. Do not try to say, hey, I came up with the idea first, so I should get the most. No, an idea is worth nothing until it's actually executed. The work is the important part. Even if you come up with the idea, trying to force an even split, and I have seen this several times, even when it's a great idea and a great company, it's really going gangbusters, it fails because the co-founders can't get along with each other, because there was something that was set up at the start and then people aren't happy with it. So try it, even split, make sure everyone's on the same footing, make sure that everyone gets along, and you have to set up in advance a method for people to exit if they feel like they don't want to be involved anymore. Investment, area of tech, which I would love for people to know more about. First of all, if you want to build a company, get into an accelerator. They're good. They have good terms. They have great environments, particularly the university-based ones. They frequently, you can get money out of them. Sometimes you get money out of them, and they don't even expect a percentage of the company, which is nice. So that's a really good place to be to start your company. Auto investment, when you're starting, is, hey, if you've got them, friends and family, if you can manage to convince friends and family to put money in, it's a great place to start. I know that on the downside, it does mean that you can feel very guilty if things go badly, and people may not want to talk to you again. So be a little bit careful on that. If you've got someone who's just flush with cash and wants to help you out, sure. Next, the one which you're actually expecting to go to, though, is once you've demonstrated you have at least some idea what you're doing. Angel investors, there's specific groups. They're basically a bunch of people with more cash than they know what to do with, who essentially invite people in to present and say, oh, okay, I think I might like to invest in that one. That sounds like a good idea. And so you'll have angel investment presentations where you present your idea and see if anyone likes it enough that they'll give you money. After that, you've got seed funds, which are kind of the same idea, but instead of being individuals, so they're funds. And after that, once you get big enough, and this is when you start needing tens of millions of dollars, you start talking to VCs. Don't try and talk to a VC if you're only just started and you've got a basic idea and you need maybe 500,000. VCs don't talk to anyone when it comes to investing less than 5 million. Honestly, 5 million is very low. It's 10 to 20 million. Don't talk to VCs until you are well and truly into this. Angels, seed funds, sure. Okay, and finally, don't spend too much of your own money on it. If you can't convince anyone to invest, you do not have a good idea or team. Basically, you should be able to convince someone else that's a good idea for it to be before you're sure that it's a good idea. And the last thing you need to do if you're going to start your own company is to work like hell. So here's a quote from Elon Musk. He suggests that you need to put in 80 or 100 hour weeks every week. This improves the odds of success. If other people are putting in 40-hour weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them to achieve in a year. This is exactly what it is like to be a founder. I do not recommend these words, honestly, as if you're not a founder, if you don't own the company. I do not expect my engineers, my team, to be working crazy hours like this. I just don't. I think that it's exploitative, and I actually find it. I think that you should be able to do in 40 hours what what's your job. As engineers, occasionally you do need to work more than that, but that's usually because there's an emergency and something's on fire. Most of the time, you should be able to go home at the end of the day and have some time off, because I find people, I know that I personally, if I don't have some time off, just go a bit nuts. When you're a founder, though, you don't get that. And when you're a founder, you really do have to work crazy hours if you're going to be successful. You do end up working. Every single successful founder I know is a little bit crazy. I know quite a few of them. They all have worked crazy hours to try and get to a point where they're successful. And so if you are going to found your own company, you do expect to be working long hours. So a team of founders is also like a marriage. You are going to see them a lot because you're working long hours. You are frequently going to see them more than your romantic partners, which can cause issues there. So yeah, make sure that they're people you can get along with, and because you're going to be seeing a lot of them. Find cheap ways to achieve, of course. Lower how much it costs to get things going. The longer you can extend what cash you've got, the better. Validate as early as you possibly can if the market doesn't respond. Find out why not and adapt quickly. Do not try and double down on something because you're sure that's going to work, because it won't. Your biggest asset as a startup is agility. Move to take advantage of it as soon as you see opportunity, even if it's not necessarily the original vision. I can guarantee you there is someone in here, there's multiple people probably in the audience here who can actually pull this off. But it is going to be hard work if you do decide to try it. Really, really hard work. And so make sure that you're ready for that before you get in. I have occasionally heard the co-founders, even at Blue Dot, say, if I knew how much work I was going to have to put into this, I would have just started a cafe. Of course, I think they were underestimating how much work goes to cafes, to be fair. So anyway, it is a lot of work.